Greetings, this is M squared, and we are moving on to two-step linear equations. So class, remember, if you are my student, you must do it exactly like I do it. Otherwise, you get no points. So in the little box, it says, when solving for x in two-step equations, you must add or subtract the constant, remember a constant is a number, before multiplying or dividing by a coefficient. The coefficient is the number in front of or with the x that's being multiplied or divided. So we always add or subtract constants or numbers before we multiply or divide. So make sure you remember that. Our goal when we solve is to get x, or whatever variable it is, alone on one side. And remember, whatever you do to one side, you must do to the other. So I look for the constant that's being added or subtracted. It is being subtracted, and I know the opposite of subtracting is adding. So I am going to add 10 to the left side to get rid of this negative 10 or this minus 10. Whatever I do to the left side, I must do to the right side. So negative 3p equals, now I'm going to add 27. Now I get rid of the coefficient. It is being multiplied by the variable. I must get rid of it by doing the opposite of multiplication, which means divide. Negative 3 divided by negative 3 is 1. 1 times p is p. 27 divided by negative 3, a positive divided by a negative is a negative. 27 divided by 3 is 9. If I want to check that, I plug this back into the original. So I would say 3 times negative 9 minus 10 equals 17. Negative 3 times negative 9 is a positive 27. 27 minus 10 is 17. So I got the same thing, so I know I am right. Very important to check. On this one, I've got to get rid of this constant first. It says minus 5, so I must add 5. So when I do that, I get w divided by 7 equals negative 7 plus 5, which is negative 2. Now I can get rid of my coefficient. So there's a 7 there. It's being divided. I've got to get rid of it by doing the opposite, which means I have to multiply both sides by 7. 7 divided by 7 cancels out, so that's a w. Negative 2 times 7 is negative 14, because a negative times a positive is a negative. If I want to check that out, see if it worked, I put it back in for w. Negative 14 divided by 7 is negative 2, minus 5 is negative 7. So, got the same thing. I'm good to go. Over here, I will get rid of the positive or the plus 54 by minusing 54. And when I minus 54 from 54, I get a 0, and 0.4z plus 0 is 0.4z. 10 minus 54 is negative 44. Now I'm going to divide, because I need to get rid of my coefficient of 0.4, and 0.4 divided by 0.4 gets me a z. If I divide over here by 0.4, I get 4 goes into 4 once, and then it goes into there once. But because I have a decimal, if you have a calculator, you could do that. But remember, when you had decimals before, you had to move it over here. Then if you did that, you had to move the decimal over there. So that's really what you have. So it's a negative 1, 1, because it goes in once. A negative divided by a positive is a negative, and then it goes into 0 twice. So that's what we have there. And I'll leave that check up to you, as well as this one, so we can move along, but make sure you're checking. So that's one, especially on a quiz or test. So I had to minus 9 because that was added, because 9 was being added to the x term. I'm going to minus 9. And when I minus 9 from 21, I get 9, 10, 11, I get 12. And then I've got to get rid of this fraction. And remember, when I get rid of the fraction, one of the ways to do that is to multiply by the reciprocal of the fraction. So the reciprocal of 3/5 is 5/3. But whatever I do to one side, I must do to the other side. And the reason they cancel out here is because 3 divided by 3 is 1, 5 divided by 5 is 1, and I'm just left with 1 times x, which is x. Here I'm going to cancel first, because 12 divided by 3 is 4, and 4 times 5 is 20. If you wanted to say 12 times 5, which is 60, I believe, and then 60 divided by 3, and get 20. You can do that too. I just like to cancel before I actually multiply. I like to divide first. Remember, division and multiplication have the same priority in the order of operations, and so you can, when there is just multiplication and division going on, you can divide first. Okay, so 20, and I'll leave that check up to you. Good luck. M squared signing out.